You're listening to a podcast from Glenstone Abbey.
I had a lot to be grateful for during the last lockdown. So many things that weren't possible for most people were still possible for us here in the monastery. With 30 of us living together, I didn't experience the same isolation and loneliness that many people had to deal with. I saw people and spoke to people every day, in the flesh, not just online. I didn't have to deal with the same kind of anxiety about my health and keeping safe that many people did. I didn't have to go out and mix with other people, and so I didn't. In fact, I didn't go outside the gate for several months. We are blessed with beautiful grounds here in Glenstal, so feeling cooped up like a prisoner wasn't a big problem either. And of course, when believers around the country were prevented from coming to Mass or other liturgies for months on end, we were still able to celebrate Mass and the offices with almost all of the usual music and ceremony each day. It sometimes takes hindsight to realize how lucky we have been. And looking back at the last lockdown, I realize now that I have a great deal to be thankful for. And I have learned to be thankful. An attitude of gratitude truly is a beatitude. But like everyone else, I've had my moments. There certainly were times when it was hard to have that attitude of gratitude. There were moments of impatience. When can we get back to normal life? Will I be able to go on that trip I had planned for the summer? There were moments of anxiety, concerns about loved ones who didn't have the same supports that I enjoyed, concerns about our school and our students, concerns about the financial health of the monastery. And then there were moments of sheer weariness. When will this blooming thing just end? Or words to that effect. When we were first locked down, we were in the season of Lent. And on the Sundays of Lent at midday prayer, we always hear a short reading from the prophet Isaiah. These verses have always been important for me and have accompanied me for many years. In fact, I chose this text as one of the readings when I made my solemn profession as a monk 15 years ago. It's just 2 verses from chapter 30 of Isaiah. Thus said the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Therefore, the Lord waits to be gracious to you. Therefore, he will rise up to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him. Isaiah was calling his audience to conversion. He was writing in the 8th century before Christ, and the people of Israel had wandered. They had turned their back on God. They had trusted instead in their own strength. And in the face of all that, rather than fire and brimstone, Isaiah brought a gentle message. Return to the Lord. Stop. Slow down and reflect. In returning and rest you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Over the past few months, I've heard a lot of strange stuff said about the pandemic and how it was God's punishment on the earth. Now, I don't believe that for a moment. But nevertheless, Isaiah's call to return to God spoke powerfully to me during the lockdown. And it still does. We human beings have become immensely powerful. We're constantly making new discoveries in physics, in medicine, in artificial intelligence, and all kinds of other areas. But for all of our brilliance, our resources, and our wealth, the entire world has been brought to a standstill by this virus. In the face of coronavirus, the brightest people and the wealthiest nations have been powerless. And it's that powerlessness that has created such anxiety. We're not in control. We don't know what's going to happen. Into that, Isaiah's words from nearly 3,000 years ago speak powerfully, to me at least. In returning and rest you shall be saved. Now, lockdown wasn't always restful. I was as busy as ever in the school, even though the building was largely empty. But whatever about rest, the lockdown certainly did force even busy me to stay put and keep still. There was liberation in that. When I let go, realizing that no government or army or multinational pharmaceutical company was going to solve this crisis anytime soon, I was able at last to let God have a look in. In my powerlessness, I was able to at least begin to fix my hope in God. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. I really believe that, and have done for a long time, but somehow I know it more clearly now. Of course, that confidence hasn't made the virus go away, and my reflections may seem hollow to someone who has lost their livelihood or lost a loved one to COVID-19. But I truly do believe that there is strength and real power in recognizing that God is our hope and will somehow shepherd us and love us through this wilderness that we cannot navigate on our own. The second half of that short reading from Isaiah offers even more comfort. God knows that we often rely too much on our own strength or on idols of our own making, rather than on Him. But for all that, He doesn't turn His back on us, or will not send us away when at last we do come to Him. The Lord waits to be gracious to you. Therefore, He will rise up and show mercy to you. What a wonderful message for the people of Israel all those centuries ago. What a wonderful message for Christians during the season of Lent. And what a wonderful message for us in our bewilderment and anxiety in this time of pandemic. The Lord waits to be gracious to you. Therefore, He will rise up to show mercy to you.